All right, what if I told you we are live, ready to go for El Clásico? Welcome, everybody. I see some people already in here. And of course, it's going to be a long day. We got about, 3 hours of talking and recording? But it is what could be a week that defines the season. Barcelona against Real Madrid in El Clásico. Again, starting a week, 2 minutes early. So we'll kind of wait for people to get in. Remember, it is here. We have the live stream preview first, and then at 3 o'clock, I'm going to keep putting this in the chat. We're heading over to Big Up at 3 p.m. Yeah, hey, Steven. And Curtis Charles joining in too. Okay, so let's get into the starting lineups now. Steven asked already, why is Fermin playing? We needed more control. I think there was control against against Bayern Munich, and that is why Hansi Flick didn't change anything. You also talk about fitness, so we don't know about Danny Olmo. We don't know about Gabi. We don't know about Frankie de Jong and their ability to play 60 minutes or whatever was going to be required of them. And Ancelotti went the opposite direction here, and he went instead of who we saw against Dortmund, which was Modric. He instead went with Tchouaméni, with Camavinga, and without Thibaut Courtois available, it was also Lunin. So it is going to be potentially the story of two backup goalkeepers in Inaki Pena and in Lunin. And yes, there is some physicality in that midfield for Barcelona. For Real Madrid. But what there isn't for Real Madrid by not starting Modric is, if you've noticed this season, without Modric, since Toni Kroos moved on, they are struggling to have a control of a game, right? The ebbs and flows of a game and taking possession and doing things with that possession is different than even just kicking the ball around and having possession. And by taking Modric out of the starting lineup, because again, he did play on Wednesday in that start against Dortmund, I do think that is a physical midfield, but control was going to be hard to come by in this match. So it seems like Carlo Ancelotti is admitting that even at home, he wants to be the team that is going to be trying to counterattack, trying to get out and run, and basically go all out, win the ball, and then try to get forward as much as you can. So I think that's kind of the idea. With Francis, you're saying that Camavinga is going to do the pressing and Tchouaméni is going to do the dirty work. Tchouaméni also is really good at arriving late in the box. That's where he can really be dangerous. But this game is going to have so many different phases too that I'm not too. Not to say I'm not overdoing the idea of a starting 11, but I also thought with Rodrigo out of this match that this kind of was going to have to be the case, that it was going to have to be a 4-4-2. So instead of starting Modric as like a number 10 in behind Mbappe and Vinny Jr., again, it kind of all out physicality in that midfield with Tchouaméni and Camavinga. And that means that Valverde is going to have to push forward too. And Valverde generally does play well against Barcelona historically. He's one of those guys, very much like Sergio Roberto did. One of the guys you don't really talk about, but to me, Fede Valverde is a player that I circle and say I'm actually a little bit concerned about him and how dangerous he can be. For those who've joined recently, again, I think with such a big day, we're going to continue to get people here in the live stream, taking us up to 2:45 or 2:55, I should say, and then give me about a 5-minute break to get some water in those things, and then we're heading over to Big Up with the link there in the chat. The big picture here, it's funny because in a week, it's almost impossible to say that a game against Real Madrid was the second most important game in a week. But because Barcelona are up by 3 in the Liga table, I think beating Bayern Munich in that match on Wednesday was paramount. That was because of all the demons and all the things that Kevin Williams and I talked about on the show yesterday. It was paramount to get a result in Europe against Bayern Munich. And I know in the Liga, Kevin had said it yesterday too, that most likely, if Barcelona are going to win a trophy this season, it will be the Liga trophy. So this match on paper against Real Madrid is the more important one. But I think in terms of the confidence of the team, in terms of the psychological, empowering nature of what a win can do in Europe, I do actually think by even January, February, because Real Madrid, it's so funny because they are unbeaten in 41 straight matches in La Liga. So I mean 42 rather. And if that being Real Madrid, go unbeaten today, they'll tie the all-time record, which is 43, which is set by Barcelona. So interestingly enough, if Real Madrid managed to get some result here, it tells you in the Liga they aren't in an insane run of form. But there's a big difference between getting a win and being unbeaten with a draw. And Real Madrid have dropped points. Again, they did not lose in the Liga, but they have dropped points. So for Barcelona, even a draw in this match does so much more for you. And so I do think that nerve-wise, I know people are saying they're nervous, and confidence-wise, I mean, I think these teams are very even. And when these two teams in a Clásico have been even, Barcelona don't come into a Clásicos as the on par playing as well as Real Madrid are and then get blown off the field. Doesn't usually happen. So, my belief is there are going to be goals in this game, just like they were against Bayern Munich. So I think a 3-2 is completely a fair result. I think there will be goals. Again, Barcelona is going to go with that high line. And El Clásico, again, is going to come down to little individual moments from Vinny Jr., from Mbappe. And there have been moments when Mbappe does not get service and has not really been able to find games until late on, and it's too late. What Barcelona will not do is they will not sit in a low block, so Mbappe will have his chances throughout the game. But what is Barcelona doing on the other side to put that ball in the back of the net? We saw against Bayern Munich, they set the tone early by pressing, by getting the turn, and then immediately striking through Rafinha in the half space. As I talked about tactically, I still had some surprises, and I do want to say and make mention to the biggest place that I'm going to circle on the field for Barcelona, and we can do this on the tactics board, right? When we jump over on Big Up at 3 p.m., I can even do that as the match is getting started. Rudiger will likely leave some space in behind him. And if Lewandowski can manage to take the attention of Eder Militao, there is going to be space in behind, whether that's on the left or the right, depending on where Lewandowski has moved to. Now, it could be Rudiger in the 1v1, but more likely Rudiger is the more reactive of the two center backs for Real Madrid. And so I do expect some space in the half spaces to open up, particularly between Mendy and, I would assume, again, Eder Militao will be on the left of that back four, or for Barcelona attacking at the right next to Mendy. So I would assume that Militao will be the left center back. And again, with Mendy having to contend with Lamine Yamal, that means that there is a half space available somewhere there. Ronnie, you said, would you trust any subs in the defensive line, assuming no injuries? Fort, Sergio Dominguez, and Gerard Martin. Well, kind of, but also not really. I mean, this is knocking on all the bits of wood we have, that there are no injuries and you don't have to make defensive subs. Again, this is a game where Christensen coming off the bench would have been helpful. Having Araujo healthy would have been helpful. This is a game that I don't think we're going to see Hector Fort in. It's too big of a moment. Now, we have seen Hansi Flick trust Gerard Martin. Now, we haven't really seen him since even the international break. So I'm not truly certain if Gerard Martin would even be trusted in this instance. In fact, instead, I think it's going to be, hey, that back four, can you stay healthy? And then late on, maybe Gerard Martin comes on to push Alejandro Balde farther forward as a left winger if Barcelona's up in the game and they're going to sit back in some kind of medium block. Again, this Barcelona team doesn't go into a low block, but instead of going all out on the press and keeping that high line, if they go up late, remember, as I keep saying, there's no individual, just one tactic in this game. There's going to be many phases, and who wins more of those phases? Like Real Madrid will have their victories at some point in this match, but for Barcelona, it's can you win in the phases that you are on the front foot? Francis, do you think Hansi Flick would be trying to get at least a point, a draw would be beneficial to Barcelona? 100% it would be. Again, if my prediction is not 3-2 Barcelona, or I even think that Real Madrid is probably going to get 2 goals in this game. Again, they're playing at home. They're going to play up to El Clásico. They scored 5 against Dortmund on Wednesday. So even with those missing pieces, I think that this Real Madrid team will be up to this match. And so I think they can put 2 goals past this high line of Barcelona. But, my prediction, I think if I had to, I think maybe I said it yesterday, or maybe I didn't. I think I was saving that for here. My official prediction, I'll put it in the chat here. My official prediction is for the first La Liga draw in Barcelona Real Madrid recent history since 2011, which is not recent history. The last, again, I'll repeat that. The last La Liga draw between Barcelona and Real Madrid came back in 2011. So I'm going to go with 2-2 as my official prediction. So here, we're going to sit on this in case any Real Madrid fans come to get me. Let's see here. What else we got? Yeah, I mean, those who are predicting, TJ predicting that Madrid doesn't score, I think that says a lot about the form of Vinny Jr. And I think Vinny Jr. is just going to be a bit too much of a tall task, overloading that left side with Mbappe and with Bellingham for Koundé. But as I said, I think Barcelona also coming into this game in really good form. Jonathan, you asked, how do you think Lamine Yamal will fare against Ferland Mendy today? He struggled a little bit against him last season in the cup game. That's true, but I think Barcelona also struggled in that cup game. Lamine Yamal was playing with the utmost confidence right now. And Ferland Mendy, to me, he has moments. He has positive moments, of course. He's earning the start. But I think there are also moments when he hasn't been great playing for Real Madrid. And he has had some struggles against wingers that are in form. And as I was speaking off air with Kevin Williams yesterday, for those of you who watch a ton of football, Lamine Yamal on the right wing right now, I don't care that he's 17. We're not talking about that. We're talking about literally Lamine Yamal, the player, and his production and just what he is on the field. I would implore anybody who says that he's not a top 5 winger on the right side. Who are the top, left winger, of course, Vinny Jr. He's the most in form right now. But on the right wing, who has been better in world football right now than we've seen from Lamine Yamal? So I do trust Lamine Yamal just as a talent against Ferland Mendy in this. John says, who do you think will win the midfield? That's what this game is going to come down to. I think if Barcelona can, they don't have to have like the most possession or win the most balls, but if they can get some control by winning 50-50s and then attacking that space that Real Madrid will likely be leaving in behind, again, especially on that right side, if they can switch the ball quickly, that being Barcelona, there is space to exploit against Real Madrid. And my fear about Real Madrid's left side is that Lamine Yamal is going to have to be in deeper positions. So how are they, that being Barcelona, going to be able to attack them? I continue to say it's going to likely be, just like against Bayern Munich, it's going to be long diagonals or balls very vertical to Rafinha to be able to run onto. As I said, one of the keys to Rafinha getting so much better even under Hansi Flick is that you never really see Rafinha having the ball played to feet. Oftentimes it's him running onto the ball, and it seems like they've unlocked the best version of him. So as far as who's going to win the midfield, I mean, it could be, as far as what we're saying, who's winning the midfield? Is that who's winning the game? Because I don't think whoever wins that midfield battle is going to set the precedent. So let me see some of the questions we got. Thomas says, how are the battles in the midfield looking? Can we keep the ball away from Luka Modric to prevent the through ball? Well, again, Modric is not starting in this match, which is, I think, a mistake from Carlo Ancelotti. I could eat my words there, but I would have started Luka Modric. I think against Barcelona, Real Madrid would like to have some kind of control. And I think they're really going to go all out, that being Real Madrid, and banking on the fact that they're going to get this first goal. Both of these lineups and the way that Barcelona play with that high line, the first goal in this game is just so paramount. It's essential that Barcelona, I know it sounds silly that it's essential they score first, but it will set the precedent on where space will then be found afterwards. That said, I thought maybe the most impressive thing I've seen under Hansi Flick so far this season was how this team responded. And why I have confidence is that even when Bayern Munich went 1-1 and Bayern had controlled from minute 2 until minute 21, the way that Barcelona kind of took it on the mouth, took it on the chin, and then responded to that 1-1 with a little bit of a tactical shift, pushing Costano and Pedri a little bit farther forward, and then winning balls in better areas. That ability to adapt and understand multiple phases of the game, as I said before, that's what kind of gives me some confidence in this Barcelona team. A lot of Costado. If Costado has a huge big day, then it could be a really good day at the office for Barcelona in totality. He was essential along with Pedri and Lewandowski. I said if it's not for Rafinha, and Lamine Yamal was good too. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of important pieces against Bayern. And then the same thing today, Pau Cubarsí, it's going to be a huge day for him. I mean, not a career-defining day. He's 17 years old, but this is a big game for Pau Cubarsí, especially as that right center back, because he's going to be consistently attacked and overloaded by Mbappe, who likes to start on the left as well, by Vinny Jr. Bellingham also likes to start on the left and drift in. So this is going to be a big test on Cubarsí. The one thing I do trust about Cubarsí is that as good at pressing as Camavinga and Tchouameni and that midfield for Real Madrid is, I do trust Pau Cubarsí with the ball at his feet to find the space, and especially find the space over the top, which if Real Madrid are going to press with the players that we're talking about, there will be space in behind. And again, that's where I expect Rafinha to try to run onto. It's going to be a big test for Lewandowski to try to match what he did against Bayern, which is hold the ball up really well, help to overload the midfield, which again leaves Lamine Yamal and Rafinha a bit more open there on the wings for those diagonals. So Lewandowski can come inside a few times and keep that ball. I think good things could happen for Barcelona as well. This could be a big day for Lewandowski. Van, you had a few questions here. Hey, Dan, as a Northeast native, how pumped are you for New York sports? I'm originally from Pennsylvania, just want to remind you that. But for New York sports, a lot of teams are doing well. I did watch all the Liberty stuff, yes. Yeah, I mean, my Mets are out, but all focus on Barcelona right now. All focus on El Clásico. Barcelona, as everybody knows, is my primary team. I don't have a podcast for every New York sport that I watch. You also asked, was Fermin responsible for the lack of control in the first half for Bayern, despite his goal contributions? I talked about this on the podcast yesterday with Kevin Williams, and I want to, kind of go against. If you just watched my five headlines and didn't listen yesterday to the podcast, I did kind of backtrack a little bit because Fermin, I had said that, and this is probably still true. There's still truth to this, that Fermin doesn't really win a lot of your 50-50 balls. So if they're, that being Barcelona, going to, if they're going to press high and Fermin is going to be the guy to kind of drop in a little bit, and he's not at the point of the attack with Lewandowski, then, and it's instead of Lamine Yamal, then he's not going to win a lot of those, again, those 50-50s. He's not going to win a lot of those balls in the air. And I did think, the lack of winning the ball in the midfield is what hurt Barcelona in the first 20 minutes. I think there was something about Fermin alongside, Pedri and Castro. That press got better, as I also mentioned in the 21st minute with Pedri and Castro. But for Fermin Lopez, as I said, he did everything that he was being asked to do. And I think along with Rafinha, even last season, I'm going to use that word, and people have gotten on me in the YouTube comments about that thing called function. That what is Fermin's function? And yesterday, I'll pull up the stat that I had. Again, what did I have for Fermin Lopez yesterday? Let me find it. Yes. So Fermin, I not even discredited, but because I'm generally watching the ball and trying to see what options 1 and 2 are, I'm not watching those third man runs. And Fermin off the ball, his third man runs off the ball were so important for Barcelona to have control in that game when they had the ball. So even though that being him, he wasn't winning the 50-50s, Castro and Pedri were winning a lot more of those. Koundé was stepping into one more central position, and he was winning a few more of those. So once Barcelona started even winning their 50-50s, Fermin Lopez off the ball was relentless. And I was really happy with how hard he was working in those third man runs to create options, create space for Lamine Yamal to receive the ball, and create space for Lewandowski to drop in and receive the ball. And the total stat for Fermin in the game was that he only made 9 total passes, completed 8 of them, and 2 of them were the assists, which were pretty good assists too. So I did kind of shortchange Fermin a little bit when I did the 5 headlines. And then yesterday, as I said, it's mea culpa. I apologize to Fermin Lopez because I wasn't recognizing your game, as they say. And so I think for all the other options today, he absolutely deserved the start today. So yeah, I think Fermin Lopez was the right choice to start. I think it had to be the same group that took it to Bayern Munich. What other questions we got? Let's see here. Let's see. Satyakam, we have like 7 minutes until I'm going to take a little break. Then we'll jump over to the watch along on Big Up. And for those who are joining me just now, let me just grab that real quick, put it back in the comment section here. Yep, just pull up a second screen. There it is. Okay, so let's see. We got a lot of questions here. Let's try to rapid fire. Not that I don't talk quick enough. Maybe I should take a second here. Satyakam says, do you think Rafinha should drop a bit to help with build-up, given that Peña made several unsuccessful long passes against Bayern in the first half? I think that Pedri and Castro and Cubarsí especially, there are enough players in this team, and Nico Martinez also was in a slouch with the ball. Enough of these players, like, this is no discredit to Araujo, because I think there are big questions we're going to have when he returns and where his availability is, but there really is no weak link as far as a player with the ball. So for Peña, those unsuccessful long passes, you take those chances, but then you hope that you're going to win the second ball. And no, I don't think Rafinha. I think Rafinha is much more dangerous stretching, making things vertical. And again, if you're Pena, you just got to hope the team is going to win on 6 wall because something is broken down before that. So no, I think Rafinha defensively, he's got a really good work rate and he's going to come in to help defend. But yeah, I wouldn't really push him too far. Now, I think this live stream might get, we're going to actually jump this live stream over to the watch along at 3:00 because I'm seeing that this game actually begins at 3:30. So they hoodwinked us all. It's supposed to be a 3:00 start, but we don't start till 3:30 now. So again, we were hoodwinked a bit. So we actually have time, a little bit more time to, again, all jump over to Big Up, and then we can continue this chat over there and continue to ask some questions over there for a few minutes here. Okay, so Van, now that I know the game doesn't start for 40 more minutes and 3:30 p.m. East Coast time, let me get into some of these more in the weeds questions. Van says, Dan, I think you mentioned you had German ancestry, which I do. Were you more upset with Germany's defeat to Spain this summer or Flick's success at Barca as a German coach? I mean, so my relatives from Germany came over to Germany in the 1600s. So my family's been in the United States for a long, long, long time. So, I would say that I mean, if Germany does well, great. If Spain does well, I generally root for Spain more. I even going to the country, I've been in Germany twice. I've been to Spain. Unfortunately, I've only been to Spain once. I got to get back. I'll tell you guys on these on the dating apps, I definitely say how much like, hey, I would love to go back to Barcelona. If anybody, I see a picture on the dating apps of somebody going to Barcelona or anywhere in Spain, I always say, hey, that's definitely a goal of mine to get back as soon as I can. Let's see. Van says Lamine Yamal has 3 athletes to contend with on the left side: Jude Bellingham, Mendy, and Rudiger. Yeah, but Lamine Yamal has proven to be an athlete himself. Koundé is an athlete himself. I don't think there's nobody in this Barca team that I would consider like slow. Like Inigo Martinez is not fleet of foot. And I think if I had to circle somebody that I'm physically worried about, yeah, it would probably be Inigo Martinez a bit, but he's also been up to the task when he's needed to be. John, how do you think our high line will fare against their attack? A lot of people will use that as their main point to why Real Madrid will win. Yeah, I keep hearing that a lot. But Barcelona going to have to be disciplined. That's why I think that Real Madrid will get some goals in this game. I don't think it's going to be a clean sheet for Barcelona, but I also think that Barcelona have the tools, they have the weapons, and they have an understanding on this high line, right? Because if Barcelona wins 3-2 and Real Madrid were offside 13 times, it's still a victory. Like that goes back to the high risk, high reward thing that I'll reiterate when we head over to Big Up. Hamza says, hello, Dan. Sending you lots of love from all the way over here from Pakistan. Been listening since 2017. When is Frances coming back on the pod? Great question. Frances Tomas, yeah, we miss you. Unfortunately, because he lives in Qatar, it's just time-wise, it's really hard to get him on the show. He works a lot. He works at a school. Then he has the 2 young girls still. Not that they didn't go anywhere. They're still young. They're still 2 young girls. And so, he's just being a father and a dad, and he's a working man. So yeah, he puts in a lot of hours, and it's really hard to find any time for him. Nishesh saying, I'm nervous, man. The last time we played that high line, Vinny had a first half hat trick. Correct. But the team, they had that high line, but they didn't have the same continuity they had in between the defense and the midfield and the forward line. This team is much more compact in understanding their space. Andreas, can Koundé and Kubarsi control Vinny over 90 minutes? No. There will come time. There will come a moment when they don't. But Barcelona are just going to have to make sure that offensively they're doing their thing. Cooley's on the chat. Please smash the like button for Dan. Thank you for doing that. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes. Hit the like button, please. That'd be really helpful. I forgot about that. So, yeah, I always forget. I always appreciate everybody and forget to I need to do a better job of making sure, annoyingly, people know what I have going on. So again, we're going to Big Up at 3:00. It's a big help, yes, to give me that like. I appreciate that here on YouTube because again, those 5 headlines, I don't have anything else planned today. My schedule is open, so we're going to do the watch along. 5 headlines. We're going to record it right afterwards, and then I'm hoping like 9:00 East Coast time, I've had time to. Well, that takes a little bit to process such a big video, so I'll have time to edit that and get it out 5 headlines sometime tonight. So you don't have to wait until tomorrow morning. I'll have that, as ASAP as I can get tonight. So that's 5 headlines, but that'll be after the watch along here. Ronnie, is Eric Garcia out for this game? Yes, Eric Garcia is still injured. That is correct. Yes, that's what I thought. I think he's out for like another week or something. Let me see here. Ben, let's stay away from set pieces, please. Their shortest player is just about taller than our whole starting lineup. I don't. This Barcelona team though, like as far as in the air, I mean, I think Koundé is very underrated in the air for his height. I don't worry about his height. He's very underrated in the air. Kubarsi is a tad, I'd say, underrated at this point in the air. Hamza, as far as doing the watch-alongs, I would do the watch-alongs on YouTube, but again, over on Big Up, I have the ability to use those tactics boards. Like I'm working with that company because I have a scoreboard for you that I can that I can update. I have a or that will eventually update automatically as well. I have the tactics board that I just have cool, fun things over there that I don't have over here. That's why I don't do the watch alongs on YouTube. But again, all the other stuff, 5 headlines on YouTube and all the other stuff and content that I do over here. Andreas, do you think Olmo and Gabi should be coming on later in the game? 100% if they're fit. I would want to see both of them like by the 65th, 70th minute, because Olmo is just by that point, with all the pressing that Fermin Lopez is going to be doing, by the 70th minute, it's going to be time for Dani Olmo to find that space in that game, especially when it opens up. And I wouldn't want to be the man to keep Gabi out of El Clásico. So yes, I want Gabi on the field. Plus Pablo Torre, I think this game might need Pablo Torre, or I said, if Barcelona up, especially, what I like about Hansi Flick, he does what any manager in the 21st century does now. The best way to defend, and Cruyff said this the best way to defend is to attack. So when you're up in a game, you put on more attackers, and you put the best way to attack is to put your opponent under more pressure. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared, and take it to your opponent for the full 90 minutes. Let's see. Vid, is this the most anticipated El Clásico in the last 5 years? No, because it's October. Like, yes, I think there's a lot of buzz and excitement, but it's for Barcelona and Real Madrid, like it's still there. You know what I mean? It's still the first part of the Liga. It's still early parts of the season. So no, I would say, a El Clásico later on in the spring, maybe one that even the Copa del Rey, I think for a trophy would potentially be a bigger one. Again, maybe they meet in the Champions League. So there's great possibilities that the other, even second El Clásico in the Liga is bigger than this one. Is it the most anticipated? Again, it's really hard to tell for that. I think every El Clásico has its own anticipation. Let's see, a prediction: Fermin will score the first goal. That'd be awesome. I mean, he scored against Real Madrid before. I'd love to have it happen again. Let's see here. As far as Madrid's tactics, yeah, Z-Meister, I think you have it. I don't know if we're going to want a lot more of the ball. I think both teams are going to be very, I think they're going to take their risks, and they're going to try to get forward when possible. That's what I've liked about Hansi Flick's Barcelona, is that verticality and the risk-taking has always been, whether it's back to his Bayern teams. I mean, it didn't really work so much with Germany, but his Bayern teams took risks when they could. So yeah, I think that's going to be definitely part of that. Quick balls through the middle. That's what Madrid is going to do, but I don't think Tchouameni and Camavinga, like, yeah, they can play a ball, but that's why I said I was surprised that Luka Modric didn't start this game, because he's the guy that can deliver that ball. I think it's a mistake by Ancelotti. Yeah, I still see, it looks like the game, isn't starting until 3:30, but we're going to head over to Big Up now. Let's see, pundits who just complained about the high line is just stupid. Flick won 6 trophies in season fine with this high line. Yep. Again, it's risk reward, because the risks are there, but if so far this Barcelona team has had many, many, many more rewards. The one time they were getting put to the sword this season, twice they lost. One was a 10-minute red card by Eric Garcia, but they lost a midfielder, the defensive midfielder. And then the second time was with, again, Sergio Dominguez and Gerard Martin playing along that high line. Again, players that were playing in the third division in the U19s last season. All right, let's see. Maybe one more question, then we got to go over at 3 o'clock. What would be the biggest problem for us that Real Madrid can exploit? I'm assuming that is your question. I would say, yeah, of course, it's that high line. It's just that it's that space when they overload the left side with Vini and Mbappe, and especially with somebody at the top of the box there. That ball to Bellingham into the center, the late running from Tchouameni, the late runs from Bellingham. I think that is where Real Madrid are most dangerous, not against even Barcelona, but against anybody. Let's see, XY close. Barca will win from a Bayern fan. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Let's see. And then, do you think Madrid's attack will destroy defense? No, I don't. As I said, I don't think they're going to destroy the attack. or I don't think they're going to destroy the defense. No, I think this defense has been good enough and shown you enough. Let's see, starting at 3, I think the match is actually 3:30. Either way, we are heading over to the no, yeah, it's starting at 3 o'clock. What am I saying? So here we go. We're heading over to Big Up right now. All right, we're ending the stream. I'll see you guys there in a moment.